Okay guys, so for today what you need to do is you need to create a layout 3, and again you need to define the site in Dreamweaver. So if you look at mine, I have defined this site as layout 3 and it has an HTML and a styles.css. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to learn liquid layouts, and then we're also going to take a look at drop down menus. So as you can see, I have a banner for the website, a nav bar, sidebar, content, and footer. So it's pretty basic, and I've already styled these with colors. The wrapper is a bright yellow, but you can't see the wrapper right now. So I always start with the wrapper, and with the liquid layout, it's just using percentages. So I can still do the same thing. I can give this a width of 80% of the browser, and then I can do the right margin as auto and the left margin as auto, and then hit apply, and it's gonna work out okay. So then I can go ahead and test that out in the browser. So let's just try Safari for now. And what that does is that no matter how big or small I make my window, it's going to resize. Now, this is going to get kind of crazy because who wants a website that's that skinny? So what you need to combine a liquid layout with is you need to combine it with that min width. And it's not something that you can do in Dreamweaver's CSS dialog. You have to type it into this properties here. So I can say the minimum width should be 960 pixels. So that if I were to preview that again in Safari, and sometimes with Safari I have to hit refresh, it is going to stretch out to be 80%. But as you can see, when it gets lower than 960, it stays there like a normal website. So that's what you want to do with the liquid width. So then it's just a matter of, just like we did before, the sidebar, let's go ahead and make it a width of, let's go ahead and say 20%. And have it float to the left and hit apply. And then we'll go ahead and do content 70%, just so we can see the difference. 70%. And float to the right and hit apply. And then again for the footer, there's always going to be that clear both. And I'm not giving the footer, the nav, or the banner any kind of percentage because it's automatically going to be as big or as wide as its parent. So they are taking that percentage from the wrapper. So that's basically all there is to it. So I can come down here and I can add more content, and I can add more content here, and I could even come into the content and I can make padding or a margin. Let's do a margin all the way around of 10 for that and 10 for the sidebar. Hit apply, and then if I were to preview this in a browser, those things are going to expand and collapse as well. So then you can do something where, because I've said min width of the wrapper, it stays that way. But you can also say min width for anything. So if you're going to do the 3 bucket rule, you could say that they're all 300% or 33%, but that minimum they are 250 each. So it's up to you how you kind of want to do that. But if I didn't have a min width, then these would be resizing as well. And I'll just show you that real quick. So if I took the minimum width out of the wrapper and previewed in Safari, then this is what's going to okay, then that's what's happened, and you don't necessarily want that to happen, so that's why we do that minimum width. So in terms of creating a nav bar, you're going to go ahead and put it here, and it's up in Spry, and then you choose nav bar, and you can choose horizontal or vertical, but obviously whatever layout you choose, I don't care if it's the same layout as this one. Actually, I want you to change it a little bit. Do some kind of difference. So maybe add a second sidebar, or maybe put all your sidebar on the right, or even to challenge yourself, do a 3-column layout. So I'll go ahead and hit horizontal, and it's going to add this in there, and it's going to kind of freak it out, but don't worry about that. I'm going to get rid of this right here. And this menu bar should be in the div called nav, and then this would be if you put a container around those two, and then cleared that so it didn't have a problem with this, because remember this sidebar, this spray thing, it actually does float. So that's why it's kind of freaking out right there. So if I went into code and I put around the sidebar and the content a new div called container, and I would probably call that content container, and I'm just going to go ahead and add a rule right here. I'm going to do clear both. Okay, and then come into design, and then it works fine. So I didn't even have to add anything like percentages or whatever. So when it comes to this menu bar, it's just like other Spry things. You have to click on this word right here to get it to come up here, and this is where you can add items to the top level here, and then this is the second level. So for item 1, it has a drop down menu, and then for each of these they can have a drop down menu as well. So let me show you one of those right there. So that's what it looks like, and you can see wherever I click right here, it won't show up until I show that. So then what I want you to do is look through the CSS, and it has a ton of rules in there, and I want you to change the style of this, because if I were to preview this in Safari right now, and it's going to keep all those things with it, preview it in Safari right now, and again, if I had a minimum width, it wouldn't have that problem, but right now it just has the dark blue rollover. So I want you to change the actual style, change a different font size, change the different rollover colors, and I even change the position of this flyout menu right here. I usually have it started about right here. So go ahead and change the styles of that however you see fit. That's basically what we're going to go over today. Also, we're going to talk about the next 2 assignments from your reading, so make sure you have everything read, and you can go ahead and work on your mock-ups or gathering that together. And we're also going to talk about tomorrow creating a background graphic. Like, let's say I had a background graphic and I had maybe trees or snowdrift, and it had snow right here, and I wanted it to stay at the bottom. And I think we were talking about fire last week, that happening with fire. How do I make it stay at the bottom? So if you want to try that today, in Photoshop, create a graphic and give it some space at the top, but then make it so that it sits at the bottom of this layout, then that's exactly what we're going to do. So hopefully that helps you figure out Liquid With. Try to challenge yourself in terms of the layout other than what I've done here, and make sure you add in the navigation bar and you add your own styles in terms of font, color. You can add more over here. See if you can get the horizontal menu bar or the menu bar to sit in the center of the nav. How do you get that to happen? So anyway, I hope that helps you with this assignment, and I look forward to seeing your progress tomorrow.